Lights, camera, action.
Hi there, thank you so much for joining me once again on our social protection series. I'm very grateful for you taking the time. Yeah, I know we have an extra 21 days to go. We've started the journey in the lockdown, and I'm sure we will make it somehow. Yeah, I know you are wondering what I have on my head, but well, my camera person, who is also my boy, has now turned into my costume director, and he says I am the queen of this household. So he made for me a crown. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, so today I will be talking about what interventions different countries are coming up with to ensure that their populations are shielded and are safeguarded against the shock that has been visited unto them by the corona pandemic. Yes, and it's quite amazing how countries, because the debate has always been that there is no fiscal space to actually take up some of these interventions. But interestingly, in the last 3 or 4 months, a lot of countries, so many countries have actually come up with a lot of interventions, social protection interventions, to ensure that their countries, the most vulnerable populations in their countries, are safeguarded from the shock that is coronavirus. And actually, according to the different monitors by the different international organizations like the ILO, the IMF, we have seen over 500 social protection interventions announced across the world in different continents, even on the African continent. Yes, because countries and leaders have realized that if you do not safeguard your population, the post-coronavirus situation might even be worse. So what have they come up with? Countries have actually come up with interventions as cash transfers. Yes, some of them are giving food supplies to their people. Some of them have come up with activations, and some of them are supporting small businesses to ensure that they do not lay off their workers. Some of them have cash for work. We have social pensions. We have child care support, universal once-off cash transfers. Yes, like I said, in the labor market, we have interventions such as wage subsidies. We have labor regulation adjustments. We have shorter work benefits. Actually, countries have also gone ahead to waiver social security contributions, because they would want companies to retain this money so that the burden is lessened on them, because most companies are not making money right now. So if they are going to retain their employees, if they are going to pay salaries, yes, and the other benefits to their employees, then some of these contributions have been put on hold. And the key question really here is, when it comes back home in Uganda, what is the government doing? How are they supporting SMEs, small and medium enterprises, to ensure that at the end of it all, they are not closing shop, to ensure that at the end of it all, they are not able to retain their employees? Because the Ministry of Finance actually has predicted that about 780,000 Ugandans will lose their jobs, and 400,000 of these are in the tourism sector alone, because as we all know, the tourism sector is literally in a meltdown. So a lot of people times are going to be hard for a lot of people after this lockdown, because for all purposes and intent, the situation is not going to be the same. The situation is not going to be the same after this lockdown. So what is our government doing to ensure that the economy stays, the economy is shielded, just as the health interventions are also enhanced? Yeah, because you don't want to wake up after the lockdown and then we have to deal with an economic, with people vulnerable due to an economic meltdown. After a health meltdown, then we have to deal with an economic meltdown. So I actually think that government has to come up with interventions to ensure that the population is shielded to be able to withstand this shock, so that after this lockdown, people are able to go back and the economy is rejuvenated once again. So I want to say that, well, we've seen interventions here and there. We've seen food distribution, which has already been marred with a lot of controversy, and that is something that actually a lot of people have been very, very skeptical about. Food distribution comes with a lot of issues. The recommendation was to actually have this money sent out to the people, the different beneficiaries, as a cash transfer, other than you buying food, because now we have issues with the procurement, we have issues with the quality of the food, and yet people need this money. So I think we need to be very, very keen as a country. We need to be very, very careful so that our people are not pushed into poverty. We need to be able to protect our people from vulnerability. We need to be able to shield our population from vulnerability. We are seeing a lot of letters from different organizations, unfortunately, who are indicating that they may not be able to pay their employees. Already, it's just been 2 months now. Yeah, 2 months, and companies can no longer, or they are showing all indications that they will not be able to pay salaries of their employees if the situation goes on as is. So how is government coming up to support this population, to support these SMEs?